as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases.
It must be law
We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all.
Woo.
There are many facets to this.
Uh-huh.
The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved.
It's been a long time,
We're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry
has
really
been
wasn't
exposed.
a secret at all, has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us, with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as
entities.
As we file these individual cases.
Entities.
And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to.
Ooh-wee.
Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed.
Many
dirty secrets will be revealed.
Right.
We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity...
Many powerful people, y'all. It's like over.
You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence, to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love.
Well, I tell you, when them fans raided, they had tapes and everything.
I personally already been
taking people's phones,
on social media.
People running.
When I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo.
He's leaving the country.
Victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not
leaving
be
the country.
To that kind of conflict. They should not be targeted.
Huh?
I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims.
Line by line.
I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward.
That's right.
So if you're watching this, please hear me.
1-800-200-7474. Diddy Did It. Busby Law Firm.
There is a great strength in numbers.
Yes, it is.
You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help.
Ooh, reaching out. Anybody out?
That being said, as stated, every call that we receive, we've had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses.
Yes.
We also have collected pictures, videos, texts, We check venues.
Whoa.
We check dates. We want to corroborate.
Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. They done check venues and dates. Huh? You know what that means? They all the way back there with Tupac and them. They going all the way back there. They not playing. They definitely not playing. This was an evil man who did some evil things to a lot of people. And a lot of people wanted that evil for money. The love of money. The love of money.
That the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We
Merit.
have on staff now a
Ooh.
former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very
Not.
tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator.
Exactly.
Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? The keyboard warriors. People are attacking people that's telling.
These perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public.
I like the way this man
The
speaks.
feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly.
That's right.
I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I want to focus on the ages of these victims. When you talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 100.
Oh, you know what? When I watched After Earth After, I knew Jada was touched. I knew Jada was touched. Will Smith allowed him to touch his son. When you see that young man, all he does is cry. It's cry. And his daughter's record is, I left my conscience at your front door. Like, yeah, it's a whole thing going on. I can't believe Jada and Will. I can't believe that they would do something like this. Every time I see Jaden cry, I cry. Because I know that boy been tired. I know he hurting. And he was way young in those movies. After Independence Day, what else could Will Smith do? Ooh, there's a lot of people coming forward, y'all. There's a lot. And there's a handful of people that's not even real in this, they just trying to jump aboard But with venues and photos and text messages, these people are messed up. The world is messed up, y'all. For these people, Rick Ross, look at them. Look at them. They want you to buy their record. They want you to, glorify them. And look what they do behind closed doors. I heard his ass is in trouble too. A lot of them.
Individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way to this year, 2024.
1991. I really hope that they put an end to this and go for everybody. Go for everybody because, people that have been molested, they're looked at as, oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. And now, look at this. Having molestation parties. These people are sick. Sick. That's why I like Tia Kent when she be roasting him. Because I know he's sick. Rick Ross looks sick in the head. All the pictures y'all in together, it wasn't me. I heard they calling you T.D. Jakes and not Jesus. These lawyers calling you to let you know. They got time stamps, venues. Now, you was at his party, right? Anybody could easily say I got touched by T.D. Jakes at this time and this day. And they're going to see you on video. They're going to see you on video. You can't hide from Gino Jennings. You sure can't hide from God. Lord, help us. All these false prophets running around here rich. All of y'all coming down. All of y'all gonna bow down. Trust me.
If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct.
25 years.
Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time.
Very long time.
Now, you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward. I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations, and something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims, that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that can revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward is they see other victims coming forward.
Yes.
It gives them some comfort that they won't be the only one.
Yes.
And I expect more victims will come forward.
Yes, they will.
Saying,
but this is sad.
The lie has great speed.
This is sad for black people to do to one another. This is sad.
The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call the puppy party, a white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct.
They are coming out.
Promise of being made a star, and the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape read.
Ooh-wee. No wonder he's in jail. spinning around in circles. You know, I did a live when Eric Adams was going for office, and I told y'all, he ain't hitting on nothing. That man ain't hitting on nothing. Huh? He out here to get money. He don't care about New York. He don't give a damn about New York. And now y'all see why he stepped down. Because the power that comes behind everything you do lets you know that you're guilty, Eric Adams. You're guilty. Everything they said you did. Now, a lot of them sending their money offshores and everything, but guess what? They're going to find it. They definitely going to find it. Watch people start just flying out, leaving the country. Huh? Where you going? Where you going? We going to Mexico? Oh, we coming to Mexico.
And let them read for Sean Combs.
Mm.
You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City.
Well
Some
known.
of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know.
Mm.
Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with.
And video of them
You
going
should know
in the
that more than
hotel.
55% of the
That's why they
victims
said they
filed
got the
reports
venues and the dates.
reported misconduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI.
I felt like when Rick Ross was in the hospital, it wasn't for that. You know, the media lie to you in a minute. They covered up Africa Bambaataa stabbing. And it just went away. It just disappeared. Thank everybody for the love.
You should know that several of the individuals,
Thank y'all for the cash apps too, for my devotion service. Because God is good all the time, and all the time God gonna be good to you as long as you're good to Him. I just need the Lord. I don't need a friend.
and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment or drug testing.
Yep.
And drugs were found in their system, weird
Yeah.
drugs. Drugs
Weird.
that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Jesus.
Now,
What?
there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class
What?
action. Class actions when one or two people
Yeah, but-
file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit.
That's right.
These cases will be filed individually, one
That's
plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case.
That's right.
Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but
All around the
multiple other
world.
people. One case may sue a
Diddy
range
did
of
it.
people.
All around the world, Diddy did it. 1-800-200-7474, Diddy did it.
Thinking or
playing
hoping,
that here.
perhaps, believing that I may start naming names. That day will come, but it won't be today.
Woo, 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 woo. I said a woo, woo, woo. I said a woo, woo, woo. I said a woo, woo, a woo, woo, woo. The Busby Law Firm is not playing. And this man right here is well spoken. He speaks very well. And like you said, names will be named. Y'all best to believe that. You best to believe that. Names will be named.
We'll name names other than Sean Combs. There's a lot of names. It's a long list already. Of course, I already know who some of these individuals are. But because of the nature of this case, We're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Shocking.
Individual cases.
I'm telling y'all.
There are indeed other perpetrators involved.
Smile in your
Revealed that
face.
particular individual
All the
case
time
is
they
ready
want to take
be
your
filed.
butt.
They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about not just the cowardly but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing.
They did nothing?
I'm
Yeah.
talking about the people that participated,
That's right.
encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are.
Ooh-wee.
I call them the facilitators of foul play.
The
Willing
facilitators
participants
of
in foul
foul.
conduct.
What?
As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but will also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior.
Corporate entities.
I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know.
Sex shops. Remember he
Many of
bought
these
the
individuals
butt plugs?
paid cash.
Yeah.
We know.
Me and G.
that-
Bill
that
know that. He
many
told
of
us.
these individuals involved.
Ooh, he might be in
Ones
trouble for being the
assaulted and
security
abused,
guard at the
other
door.
witnessing Other people being
Ugh.
assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving.
Mm.
So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room.
We don't have nobody to protect our kids but ourselves.
And watched it happen, but made no effort to stop it. Any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on, but failed to stop it.
Will be brought to
Any
justice.
individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it, but did nothing to report it or stop it. And any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now.
Jeez.
I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous.
Very
You
nervous.
can't hide skeletons in the closet forever.
That's right.
I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink
It's
reported
loaded.
by these victims is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of all physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society. It's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country, and really focus on this.
That's right.
How pervasive this is and what we can, as collectively can do
Exactly.
about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and some of the, so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct. She has some important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul, the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward.
The National
Our
Victim
culture
Advocate.
doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers. The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward, instead of asking what barriers exist.
You can't mess
We
with the
also
educated.
don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crime.
That's right.
Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim. And
Don't know.
also an alarming amount of backlog untested rape kits.
A backlog.
Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees.
This man worse than Jeffrey Epstein. I'm convinced.
Different versions
This man is worse
of what's done.
than Jeffrey Epstein.
All
And I believe a lot of girls
on the
died on that
abuser
alley.
in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. You know, we've created a sexual abuse hotline. I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works.
1-800-2000-7474. Diddy Did It. Social sexual assault hotline.
It's very hard to come forward, and given what we've experienced the past 10 days,
It's hard to hear all of this. It is.
my career,
It's hard to take all this
to
shit.
represent thousands,
you know that there, you know, you heard the word evil, but then when you see it and you recognize it, this is evil.
We confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100 plus cases, prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable.
That's right.
So like Tony said, you set this up, 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by, literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you.
Along the way.
And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is over 30 plus years of the same sort of events happening. People thrust into the circle, reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and the judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings.
A lot.
For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing?
Jerry, you're right. You know a lot. You know a lot. Girl, they're coming for you. You know too much. You telling everything. How you know? How you know? Police are looking for you. The police are looking for you.
At the time, what did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment?
Exactly.
People that I was trying to trust.
Exactly.
We know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that
And
operated for 30 plus years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q. Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do.
Yep.
And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up if they ever do.
The love of
The
money
reasons for this have been
is
mentioned,
the root of all evil. Yeah.
being blamed or judged,
The love of
and
money
of course retaliation. The trauma of the assault
is
itself,
the root of all
compounded by the trauma of the criminal
evil.
justice process,
Greed.
where survivors must relive their experience in order to seek justice. And these feelings and fears are further exacerbated when the allegations are against prominent figures in the entertainment industry or Hollywood. Cases involving powerful figures often attract significant media attention, which can deter victims from coming forward due to fear of public exposure or scrutiny. The intense focus on these high-profile cases can make survivors feel that their personal lives are being put under a microscope, causing further emotional distress.
And The law firm said the keyboard gangsters been coming after them, but they don't care. They don't care. It ain't gonna stop them. The keyboard gangsters is coming after them. So some of these people that y'all bow down to, guess what? They done changed their name. They're on YouTube harassing people. They harassing the law firm. Rick Ross done changed his name. He over there harassing the law firm. Ooh, Lord have mercy.
These allegations mentioned here today, as reported, reflect deeply.
I told y'all Jada Pinkett was lying. She ain't got no alopecia. She ain't got no alopecia. She drew that line in her head. Why y'all don't see it no more? Because she been lying.
Troubling claims that deserve thorough investigation, and no individual, regardless of their stature, is above
Shout out to the chat.
or public accountability. Sadly, the statistics paint a very disturbing picture. According to the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. In the U.S. alone, there are approximately 463,000 victims of rape or sexual assault every year, and these numbers barely scratch the surface, as sexual violence remains one of the most underreported crimes. But the numbers that follow tell an even more troubling story. Only about
Shout out to the
23%
chat,
of
ain't you all right?
sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement. Of those, just 5% lead to an arrest, and even fewer, less than 1% of reported cases, ever result in a conviction, which is a devastating gap between the crime and the justice that survivors deserve. I want to briefly focus on our state here in Texas. According to the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, 6.3 million Texans, men and women, will experience some form of violence. That's every 2 minutes someone is sexually assaulted, meaning during the course of this press conference, around 60 individuals will forever be changed by this violence. And those are just a few of the victims. Obviously, this is unacceptable. We cannot allow this cycle of silence and inaction to continue. We have to create an environment where survivors feel empowered to come forward, where they are met with empathy and respect and support, not skepticism and blame. We have to ensure that our legal system is equipped to handle these cases with the seriousness they deserve, and that survivors have access to the resources that they need beyond the legal courtroom. We have to address the root causes of this epidemic: prevention, awareness, and fostering environments where respect, consent, and safety are non-negotiable values. Additionally, support for survivors has to be holistic. They have to have access to counseling, medical services, legal advocacy, and of course, community support, regardless of whether they choose to report or not. To every survivor who has come forward, your bravery is an inspiration. To those who are still wrestling with their decision, know that you are not alone and that your voice matters. Your story matters. We see you, we believe you, and we are committed to a future where sexual violence is no longer tolerated, and justice is not the exception but the standard.
But is it really, real quickly before we close here, about some specific instances without disclosing the victim's name? You probably know that depending on the age of the victim, you can file these cases, these individual cases, under Jane Doe or John Doe. Each state is different in that respect. Typically, there is a balance of this, like the public's right to know the name of the victim and plaintiff versus the confidentiality and the safety of the plaintiff. So we'll have to struggle with that with each one of these cases. Our intention, of course, is to, like we always do, file these cases under a pseudonym
And get them all.
until the court tells us otherwise. But let me share with you a few, just kind of give you a sense of the kind of cases, the kind of instances that people are calling and reporting that we are trying to corroborate, vet, and these are the ones that we've already corroborated, vetted, and collected evidence on. One individual who was 22 years at the time she was assaulted said that the typical MO at one of these parties that have been widely discussed in the press was that when you were handed a drink, and now we know that the drink is laced with something, if you refused to drink it, you were kicked out of the party. Let that sink in for a minute. The admission to this party was that you had to drink the chosen drink that was handed to you. And now we know that in most cases, let's say 90% of the cases, these individuals were drugged with some sort of drug. That was kind of the MO. Another instance,
This nigga out here selling y'all Ciroc. This nigga out here selling y'all Ciroc. I tell you, boy, what goes up must come down. Spinning wheels, round and round. I thank God for these people and for the world to see what's going on over here. There are a lot of countries where women get raped every day. Go to the police, they shoot you off. They get out of here, go home. So when they see something like this, they get encouraged. And yeah, they want safety too. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Now everybody wants to be black and powerful. Great. Black excellence. Look at black excellence. Look at what y'all look at as black excellence. I think y'all better take another look. You better take another look. Because a lot of people is going down with Diddy. And yeah, I believe when these names come out, they're going to shock a lot of us. A lot of us. Some of them we had suspicion of, you know. But they're moving funny anyway. They never got a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Just a what? A walking trophy. They're a walking trophy. They've been telling us for a long time that Jay-Z been drugging Beyonce. They said she'd pass around at the parties. What? A lot of these young wannabe stars was telling us, Diddy did it. Diddy stopped their career. Remember the band. Remember he bringing back the band. The band got something to say too. They just never thought this day would come. They would always have to keep his secret so they could make money. They had a choice. And a lot of them chose to ride with his secret. And you too. You too. Will be exposed. Mean Gene, what's his name? Yeah. Ooh-wee. I've been telling you a story. And now, so is the people that was there. And these people said, if you was there and you was around it, yeah, and you didn't try to stop it, like you said, Ja Rule came out the room and said, what? Yeah, some crazy stuff going on in here. But look, he was there. You was there. I bet you we're going to find a participant for every butt plug that Diddy bought. This is a law firm doing their thing. Busby. And they have a hotline where you can call if you or you know someone that's been to any of these parties and been sexually abused. Ooh-wee. Kid, what you been over there? Huh? Oh, y'all sitting around us. Y'all been over there? Let me see who not live no more. They done fled the country. Huh? tapes, video, venues. They got it all. I want to thank everybody for coming by. And yeah, be careful what you ask for in this life, because the love of money is the root to all evil. The more money you get, and you got everything already, you start playing with people. We say this all the time about millionaires. They start playing with people. I learned that from Trading Places. I really learned from watching a lot of Eddie Murphy movies. We learned that. What rich people would do with their money. Thank y'all for coming by. Be a blessing to someone else. And remember, if nobody loves you, I love you. Enjoy your day. Jesus.